it's so fascinating as well, as this is another type of engagement here at a drop spot that is filled with veterans. But oh my goodness, look at who's here to crash the party. The ultimate third party is iDrop. Tayson and Savage here. Savage letting Wolfies, no doubt did not expect that, but there are so many trios are now out in the outer skirts and leave behind Etsy, and the Storm Surge does tag them. It doesn't matter if you're in the sand. It doesn't matter if you're sticking your head in the sand and trying to burrow through. Storm Surge will reach through and get you. And as well as some of the lobby, as Tayson, iDrop, and Savage are big chilling because they got some valuable Storm Surge tags, and now they have the ability to just pick off anybody who is frantically running from Storm, and not only that, frantically doing their best to stay alive and avoid Storm Surge. As Zarios gets just beamed out of that state. Take that, get converted, as Tayson and iDrop and Savage now have 3 elims in this match and starting to get hot.
How do they find the sand bunker and be able to do so much, taking fights for free? Because this rock behind them blocks off any chance of a third party. And they build past that rock and get the zone hold as well. And they get zone again too.
Wow.
Luckiest rock on the Fortnite map, it has to be.
Bless it. It's just, hey, before anyone drops into the arena, just hold on to the rock just for a bit.
That is huge.
Now we got to look at who's actually sitting on the front side of zone at height on the bottom right of your screen. It is ADN, Hardfire, and Astro, who came in first place here right before this round, who have been on a terror. And we have yet to see them on the broadcast. And ADN, Hardfire, and Astro, newly formed trio, who's just on the same side of Amplify, Matzo, and Benji. So this is going to be a huge victory royale for Astro, Hardfire, and ADN to keep up that momentum from the previous round. And they have that RPG in their back pocket, and they're just going to elect to do a God Tarp over this entire rotation here. And so far it's looking strong, but if anyone looks up, they're going to have to deal with a lot of beams to get through that metal, Shyo.
Yeah, I mean, the more time this is kind of
connecting
alive on these builds, the more it regens over and gets big health. Connection there on the backside too. Looks like they took out Stasio, Sinks, and Vap as well because they have that rocket launcher. Past that too, though, on the low ground, we see Crusty Blackster rotating. Flick still getting some picks on the Mosh. 16 trios alive now in the 6th circle. We'll see how things roll. Astro last time came down in 15th place in game number 1 with just 13 elims. That was way later in the game too. But Tails gets a few picks. Thomas again converting onto Jachu and Karma, getting even more. Airwalks finally goes down, so they got to live all the way to this point, but Mateos picks them up. Another trio that needs to get in top 10 today. That baton kind of gets passed, and now Astro is working so well to stay ahead from zone. These guys are essentially playing on their own Fortnite map from what it looks like. They're in their own dimension right now, building their... Oh, this is the biggest tarp I've seen.
I know, it has gone from a God tarp to a Titan tarp. Bigger than the gods themselves. And they're holding on as much as possible. They only have 1 RPG though, so it may not be a victory royale just so easily. But now you're seeing the chaos that's happening down below as Zest and Scout are actually in this fight. And you mentioned Airwalks, who was able to at least sneak into 1 placement point, but Tayson, iDrop, and Savage getting someone else. Expert going down into the fray. Now you're hearing the shattering of bullets colliding against builds here out in the distance. So many beams, and now the nice rotation here on the right side, getting into the front as much as possible, but now they're making a great rotation, and now they kind of separated for just a bit, but now you're seeing this. No, actually, yeah, they're right behind. What a great tarp right there from Tayson, and you're seeing the mechanical prowess. No missed edits, but the pressure from a hot has to be acknowledged in here, and they keep moving forward. So let's keep it on right now here, so as they get another knock, and Kepi now is running for his life in another elimination.
Hunting down over and over again, looking for any morsel, but Thomas oversteps and gets taken down. Now, once again, a dual clutch has to be made, but it's Flick who's going to be up this time. No, it's Solo. So 4 elims, 50 builds, and the best loadout you could possibly ask for in the end game. Let's see what he can do. Has to drop down with pressure and break in. It's a game of seconds here on these pickaxes into a full trio as well. It's not possible. Shakos takes him down, and now Height goes down a little bit more as well. They're gonna crush every single low ground trio with both pressure and their bodies. They're trying to connect to this mountain over here, this little hill, and make sure no one can really gather from it, build up, or do anything. Once again, they have a good foundation. Gray's still alive in the low ground too. Dekoff, Blaster, and Alpha, the low ground trio you love to watch, is active as well, but ADN now is going for Height. Tayson's also there on mid. I think it's a 3-way Height fight currently. Big bouncer coming in from Tayson. No elims down just yet. 4 different trios. ADN goes down. He gets super finished. iDrop also taken out in the fray as a trade. Savage is there too, making sure he gets the entire finish up, and Astro is still holding Heights.
What a phenomenal height. Kind of contested by iDrop Tayson just to get a little bit of damage to height, and that's going to give an opportunity for everyone on the low ground like Shayco's trio to be able to walk away with this victory royale. One RPG here for Astro here could kind of ruin the run from the bottom team, but Savage is still in this fight here. Savage is holding on, and that's going to be 8 elims, almost getting his 9th elim, but going down. So now Astro, alongside with Hardfind, Astro there is going to be the solo member of height going up against the low ground team. And it's a battle between Shaycos and Astro. Low versus high, and Astro has so much HP that it's going to most likely be an Astro victory royale. He has some, yes, wow. That's it. The splashes, and
they're going to be looking directly at the circle for their rotation. These guys are slightly outside of it, so we'll have more creative angles to take shots in. And if people react to their bullets, they're going to be taking shots from everyone else who's actually inside the zone. So a very dangerous and creative spot from Blaster Alpha and Nikov. Although a lot of people have already made it in, people have swam across as well. As good as this is, it's such a distance away from landing any meaningful damage. Stasio also just right underneath them as well. I'm wondering, they have that RPG? Because if so, all these builds, even if it is double tarped, are at risk.
We're seeing the rest of the rotations come in true. 6 zones about to reveal itself in about 5 seconds here. Still, everybody now is on the north side. No one's basically on the dead side. Only a couple of trios, and this does pull up the mountain here. So Alpha, Blaster, Nikov are going to have a great position, but you did mention that RPG trio, Astesios, just right below here on the low ground.
I like to make references. You know how it goes. 8 so far, but we'll have more by the end of the day. These guys are going straight up the mountain. Blaster, Nikov, and Alpha making sure they're ahead of the pack, but Stasio remembers how he won the game. It was from height early. 6 zone height team has won games every time so far today, and right now it's Alpha, Blaster, and Nikov. No team, I think, has been this close or contested 4 height just yet, the way Stasio is pushing for it. While that happens, Saban takes out Flick all the way somewhere on low ground, and that's a second place team who's also being bullied. Alpha taking some shots in the back. Shaykovs looks like he's down bad. No, down atrocious for the moment, moving in the backside of his zone. But Stasio, in his kind of proactiveness, goes down and trying to find a good spot in the zone. Hardfind still active. Tails going down. Astro eliminated as well. This is a very different end game in game number 3.
And Stasio's trio going down means the RPG does exchange hands. Who's going to be able to knock off Alpha, Blaster, Nikov at height? Hardfind picking up an Elim, Blake picking up a knock, and Thomas getting Savage. So that's going to be huge to see. Where does Lechi, Wolfies, and Savage go into the leaderboard? And if any of those are still alive, but look at the zone. You're going to see these huge elevation. This elevation is going to claim a lot of Elims here. Shia, what did you see?
I just saw Tayson and Savage go down immediately, box to box, inside mid-ground. Past that as well, you're mentioning the zone. We're going all the way back. We're bouncing back, and it might not be completely up the mountain, but it gives chances for people in mid-ground to keep staying alive still. Edits will be made. Hardfind trips up. On low, Wolfies is still alive on the backside.
Wolfie's holding on to his trio's run. They need to get a good finish here, considering they did not have one in the previous match. So a lot riding on Wolfie's shoulders. But oh my goodness, the action is still popping up, and look like Alpha there getting an Elim at the high ground. Now he's going to go back up to his trio mate.
Keep focusing on height, but I'm just still looking on the left side at Wolfies' name on that big overhead feed. He's been through 7-6 different trios over and over again, somehow surviving. He's still alive on low. His team's hopes today ride on his shoulders alone for this game.
And he has to be careful, because now the zone is now getting pushed. Essentially, it's pushing everyone down to the Alpha, Nikov, and Blaster, and Wolfie does go down. Wolfies gets eliminated, but a pretty decent finish here. Able to get a knock and an Elim, and he was able to get some placement points. Very valuable solo run from Wolfies right there for Lechi Savage's trio. But let's keep focused here on the bottom right. It is iDrop sitting on the mid ground. iDrop as well is being solo. So far, 5 Elims for that trio. Now he's at the low ground, touching the wet grass for a moment here. But now he has his head on a swivel, considering he's on low mats. But now we're back on the high ground, and this is what's being caused. Thomas goes down to Diablo. Thomas gets converted into 2 points. Let's take a look at this low ground and see Kiko, Slender, looking good as a duo. I think we have iDrop still no eyes on iDrop. Now, okay, he does get tagged here. But Alpha, Blaster, Nikov's job, who are literally coming into 8th place, they're gonna definitely move up the leaderboard. And iDrop gets 2, it gets an Elim right then and there. But oh no, iDrop goes down to Kiko.
So close. Diablo's also picking up pace and speed. Elim's back-to-back Legend going down. Kiko and Slender all the way down below. Looking to make sure they make no noise. No one look below. Karma's falling down and loot is raining through. Kiko possibly getting a big refresh as well. Alpha is still beaming. These guys have not run out of ammo just yet, but he's on his final 10 bullets for now. Under 160 builds left as well. We have 3 different zones of play happening in this end game, left to right, right to left actually. And no one's touching each other's builds just yet. Still shots coming in. It's not at each other's trios. These shots are to break the hard builds ahead of them. They're playing the game off their health bar. Nikov now finally going through and dropping more pressure on the second height team. They're sandwiched currently, and it's not tasty. This is a very difficult situation to be in over and over again, but they do actually end up clashing. Low ground gets taken out. Flecken and Diablo have popped off and have position. Alpha has insurance though. Blaster goes down. Nikov eliminated as well. Are the siphons enough? Alpha has the HP difference. 2 chuck splashes to take. Is it enough? It is. Alpha gets it through. What makes things a bit scarier for this trio on screen, Savid, Wolfies, and Lechi. I know I said there were 12th place, just 1 place behind Airwalks, SD, and Vato, but the point differential, oh, the point differential. It's 52 to 37 when this game started. And after those 3 Elims, it's 6 points even further. So Elims have to be made up right now, and that's exactly what Wolfies is the best at with Lechi, but taking a little bit of damage while getting it. They will get Patty down. This fight that went from craggy cliffs all the way down now to the Coliseum finally has some form of closure.
And what a beautiful box play from Wolfies. Went to get the cone, didn't get it the first time, but was able to get that piece control in the second time. And they got a great box Elim as a trio, now fighting hip to hip, trying to survive metaphorically, not only this game, but trying to move into that top 10 together as a trio.
How to peek, where to go. They might start it now, but they're actually gonna affect Pizza Ardent. How smart are these guys, knowing that everyone has to make this type of rotate? Full refreshes, suck splashes, slurpfish. That is huge.
Wow. We all know that it takes a little bit to burrow yourself, and that we're able to catch someone in that animation. What a big time pickup right there, and refresh. And now we're seeing Storm Surge ringing in true, and now another sticky situation for Airwax and Etsy and Vato. No shield now in the moment here. Airwax, who has 2 big name Elims, now he's out and down. Is up to Vato, and the miracle run in this match may have just been too much. The battle worn, the wounds from the rest of the lobby were just too much to bear for Vato's trio, and they no doubt close to going down. But on the same kind of battle worn track is Wolfies, Lechi, and Savage, who are looking much stronger in health. They still have some work to do to get inside the safe zone, and now they're getting some held out by the people in the zone, trying to work as much as possible and get in, as they say. This German, English, Irish trio from International Flair doing all that they can to stay on their feet to make sure that they're sniffing that top 10 here in game 4.
Big thing here too is that because SD, Airwax, and Vato got taken out, these guys have the room to catch up.
Yes.
This is the moment. This is the game. Still though at 41 points. They haven't really done much past that point, and placement points haven't been getting ready to hand out for the moment right now though. For everyone who's playing in this zone, it is a max pull and no one has position for it. There's one purple trio who's trying to get an advantage, but this is going to be a long haul, and there's a river involved as well.
Definitely that river. You could take a dip and take a swim.
Was that Browner with an RPG on heights?
Believe so, yes. RPGs just get shot out from Browner there. So Browner now has its own Stasios trio there now, no doubt. Maybe out. The reason why we say that is there's very limited RPGs. There's usually 1 guaranteed from the character there. Down in the Hydro 16, you could pick one up from a shark. But the chances of that happening are very rare. Out goes a stair top from Kiko as he's leading his team through, using that bridge for a little bit of temporary relief here as much as possible. But this is dangerous style. All of the trios essentially are going to exhaust a lot of their material as they go over, and Browner's going to hold on to this height alongside with his trio mates. It's going to require a lot of mats, and at the same time, they're definitely gonna have to find a refresh here somewhere. As you see, Browner is already out of builds, no doubt. Gave the builds to the remaining trios, and he does have 2 RPGs, and that's why he's being so aggressive, trying to find Elim and trying to find Shakos. Now, Shakos is not gonna have some issues here. He does get the confirmation how much builds, gets a huge map refresh, and now he's gonna go back up, but it's being contested by Code's trio.
Code sees the opportunity. He saw Browner going all the way back and identified that he was from that high ground trio. Has height, but where are his teammates is the question. On low ground, Tayson's also operating, making sure he can make the most out of his situation. Browner is now almost out once again of all those mats he just got from that play. It's Manu, Mateos, and Code who have gotten height. They're one of those 6 trios who need to hit top 10 and stay in there as well. So a huge game for them. Lecce, though, still alive and next to Tayson's box on low ground. Eye drop goes down as Storm Surge ticks through. And past this, everyone is still moving forward, going towards the next zone.
Now we're going to keep looking focused. This will be huge for Manu and Code and Mateos. They are the Spanish trio that need a finish, as Shyo said, but let's look at the low ground. Lecce is the warrior. Another solo run from Wolfie Savage in that trio. Can Lecce? He does get an Elin there. 53, a full refresh. It's another big shot and an Elin from Lecce, and he gets a knock on Browner. So Browner with the RPG fell down, had to give that up because of the retake from Code. That is the effects of a high ground retakes here on these rotates. Now you're looking at down below, Mashi, Slender, and Kiko coming from Rito Row, who's been very strong against the Playwell team, now cooking together as a trio on the low ground. Looking really solid with 4 elims and a strong 78 points as well. And they're gonna be a power trio looking for anybody that falls down to their clutches. They could easily get a conversion considering that they're looking strong. The question is, do they have enough mats going forward as this rotation has been seemingly be pushing east, and did they get nothing? Nothing there. It was so close.
Grab it.
So close.
So good for height and every team above them, though. That means that they're not gonna be able to survive for long, using a harpoon now to break builds in front of them. Because they want to alert people right above with the shots. Everyone, though, is getting crazy and constricted over and over again. There's no space for too many trios to be alive in mid-ground. Kelpie still popping off, getting Zynie down. Maggle still trying to survive as well. Vortex just finally goes down as that trio is taken down to 1 solo player. Height, though, is having a vacation here on this top spot. They haven't really moved or done much. But at the same time, because of this position, because of the patience and staying elusive, they now get to activate and really bully the people below.
A lot of the big names are out of this fight, but that means that's a great opportunity for the Spanish trio at height to move up their leaderboard. Right now, coming in 23rd place before this match. So this will be a big time match to get them up into that top 10. And now you're seeing Kiko on the low ground, making their way through forward, sitting on the front side at a very strong position. So this is a moment here. Fires are exchanged. They're working through the catacombs and the builds. So right now, Flixie does go down to, it looks like they sent down Mateos. So now Mateos is going to try to do his best to cause some chaos. Mateos is now in the fight with Kelpie here. They're going back and forth. Now Code is now being sent down as well. It's against Mashi. And Kiko goes down on the bottom right.
Slender and Manu, though, who have to be the insurance at this point. 2 chuck splashes, 3 floppers, and some peppers as well. Will that make the difference is the question. There's a 3rd team, though, alive at the same time. Looks like Kelpie goes all the way towards the end. There's a siphon that comes through for Slender. That could also be the difference maker. Looks like he has no builds, though, and yes, it will be Manu at the end of the day with his heals.
Hopefully we can sort of see them sort of push that into some sort of momentum, because obviously they did eventually go down a bit later in the game, right? But what a play that was, to be fair.
Yeah, and looking at how that affects the leaderboards here.
Yeah, super interesting to see some of these teams and how things have sort of shaped up, right? We talked about how we expected some of these bigger names to put on a performance. One of the names who we've seen consistently these qualifier weeks, Shakos,